Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to this video. So in our previous tutorial on Python, we saw how to work with this simple application, if else. Okay, we call it decision statements, we call it control statement. We discussed that elaborately, so just check out the other video. So we understood from this if else or py that if the current condition is set to rainy, then you want to make a decision. So you check if the weather is rainy. Remember, it's this tutorial we actually talked about flowcharts and pseudocode. So check that tutorial to get more info and be able to work on this second part, because this one is a bit more advanced than what we did here. So today we are going to learn how to create school grades. Okay, we'll learn how to create a simple school grades application that will allow anyone, students, parents, or teachers to just enter the score of a student and be able to get their grades. Okay, so we'll advance from the knowledge we had here, and let's see how we can do that. So we'll still be using if and else, but we'll come up with something between them. If, okay, we have else, but if the conditions are more than two, then you have to have something like other programming languages can call this else if, but with Python you just call it elif. Okay, so you can have as many elifs as, but the thing is it must always start with if and end with else, right? Okay, so we'll work with this type of control structure today, statements today. All right, so let's get started. So let's start by declaring a variable for our students. Declare variable student score. We want to get the student score first of all. So score, let's just call the variable score and give it 47. Okay, and so let's know which one is pass. Okay, so let's know our, how can I call it, the benchmark. Okay, benchmark, you can call that benchmark or pass mark. Let me just call it pass mark. Pass mark. Okay, so if we have pass mark to be 50, okay, let me make things simple first of all. Okay, so we have the student score of 47, and we want to check if student score is, this is what you want to do. Student scores above uh, 50. If student scores 50 or above, okay, so if student scores 50 or above, or let's just say above 50 first, okay, then you say the student has passed. Okay, so if student scores below that, then the student has failed, right? So let's see how to quickly put this into our program. So it's just like an English language. So I might just copy this and I'll put it here. And if students, if score, right? So if student score is above, so we can use greater than sign here. Okay, 50. Then what do we need to do? The student has passed. So we just print the student has passed. The student has passed, right? So let's see. So we want to give a score and see what happens with that. Okay, so this is a score we have given, 47, and let's see if the student has passed. So if we print the school grades.py, py school grades.py, okay, nothing will be printed, nothing, but the program has no errors. The thing is, this is not greater than 50, but there is no place we checked that. So all we checked was those ones that are greater than 50. So this runs, no problems, but there's nothing printed out because we didn't explicitly ask it to print it out. So let's do that else. Okay, so else print the student has failed. Has failed, right? Okay, so if we do this, then we see that the student has failed. The student has failed, right? So let me make this bigger as well. And I like to use, let me use what I used before. PY. PY. And school grades. .py. Okay, the student has failed. Okay, so how do we know? What if we updated this to 67? The student has passed, right? So it's checking this and giving us the answer. You can pause for a while and see how this works. So this is what the user actually inputs. This is what we have provided. So this check actually checks the score and knows what to print, okay? Remember from our previous video when we talked, so it checks if it's rainy, it will tell the person wear umbrella. If it's not rainy, wear a light dress, right? So the same thing applies here, right? So let's take it a step further. Okay, what if we typed 50? Exactly 50. The person has failed, trust me. So the student has failed. Why? Because all we were asking for if score is greater than. So anything from 51 is what will be printed here. So this is not greater than 50. This is 50. So to make this to also work with 50, which is a right thing, from 50 should be passed. So we add equal to, just like in mathematics, where we have greater than or equal to sign, right? So we have equal to here. So if score is greater or equals to 50, yes, by this now, we will have that the student has passed. So this is a correct check now. So we add this and the student has passed, right? So one other thing I might need to show you, because this program is really faulty, if peradventure I had a score, mistakenly had a score of, let me just, okay, let me see what happens here. The student has failed. Okay. All right, so let's see something. So what if I add a score of 109? The student has passed. The scores for students should start from 0 to 100. So 109 should not be allowed, but here it still prints the student has passed. As well as -2 should not be allowed, but here it still prints the student as well. So we need to bring up those checks, okay, to ensure that we have a scope where we work with. It should be between 0. Let me just type that. It should be between 0 and 100, right? So anything before 0 and anything after 100 should not be allowed, okay? Not allowed. So we want to be able to create that. Okay, so if score is greater than 50, so how will we check how will we put these boundaries? How will we add these boundaries? So for that 50, we want to make sure that the score is between 50 and what? 100, okay? So how will we add this boundary? If score is greater than or equal to 50 and score is less than or equal to 100, right? So let's add that boundary. And score, so I've copied that, and score is less than or equal to 100. So why are we adding the equal to 100? So that it will still pick the 100. If you don't add this, it will stop at 99. So we have to add that. So score is then, all right. So that's a good check, okay? So we can add that check also here. So let me just change this to if and add here for simplicity, okay, for simplicity. So if score is less than 50, and score is greater or equal to 0. Okay, so the student has failed. This is a proper check now. So if score is okay, print the student as okay, and score is okay. Please, let's use this here. I think something should be printed, but it's not. Okay, okay. No, it's not our fault. Okay, so if score, we are not wrong. Okay, so the student has failed with 3, right? And we understand also that with 0, the student has failed, right? So with anything minus 1, the student has not failed. Nothing will be printed. Okay, that's where we were. All right, also notice first that if we have 100, the student has 100 passed, right? 101, nothing will be printed. Okay, and 49 failed. So we've properly tested this now, 50 passed. Okay, so this works very well, okay? So now, we also need a way of adding the boundaries. So the boundaries will be the one that will take the else. Okay, else print out of boundaries. Print score is out of boundary. It's not allowed. That score is not allowed. That score is not allowed. Okay, so this should work. So that score is not allowed when elif, yeah. So because of the else, we needed elif there. So the student has passed, right? So our program works perfectly now. So because of this, you can work with if, but once you have else, you have to make sure that the inner definitions are elif. Okay, so we have 50 there and it's working properly. So if we have 0, still failed. Okay, if we have 100 passed, right? If we have 101, and then we will have that the score is not allowed. Okay, so if we have 99 or 49, again failed. But now if we have -2, score is not allowed. So this works properly. But yeah, I hope you have learned a lot with this. Look at this. You can pause the video and just look at that very well and try to write it down. Try to understand how it works. It's really simple. But the thing is, you want to go a step further. You want to get a step further with this. So we want to make a full class. We want to make it a full school grade stuff, console application. So we don't just check if it's passed or failed. Okay, so the parameters will be much. Okay, and at the end of the day, we'll make sure that we allow the user to be the one entering the scores. We won't be the one entering the scores. So we'll bring in what we call input. Input, we already discussed input in this file, right? We'll bring in input here. Okay, so that's well discussed. So let's get a step further. Now we want to be able to know when the grades are A and B and C and D. So how do we do this? So if score is greater than, okay, let me just put this. So our grades should look something like this. We will not define the grades, just I'm going to give comments. Okay, so we want a situation where if somebody scores 70, okay, 70 and above, that's A. Yeah, all right. So if the person scores 60 and above, that's 60 to 69, right? You get what I mean? That should be B. So if the person scores 50, that should be C. If the person scores 45, that should be D. The person scores 40, that's E. And the person scores anything lower, that's F, right? Anything lower than 40 is F. So we want to follow this structure. Let's see how to do it. The easy way, the way that is not really nice, but we'll get it more advanced. I want to start from the very, very basic way, right? So student scores A grade, right? So A grade should be 70 and above. So we are coming here and we'll change if score is 70, of course, and above, greater than equal to, and this. So grade A. So we have changed that already, right? So we can test that by having 69 and the score. Okay, I think I removed some part of the program, so let's not expect it to work. Let me just complete this. So we have this, if score is greater than 70, greater is equal to 70, then less than, so that should print grade A. So we have this as grade B. So grade B will be 60 to 70. Okay, so 70. Okay, so we remove this equal to, right? So that it will be lower than that 70. Okay, so this is grade B. So all we need to do is just to copy, paste, and change a few things. So we have grade C, and that should be 50 and lower than 60. So you see that it's much easier, like copy and paste once you understand the first one. So grade D, which is up to here and lower than 50, and this is 45. You can see it here, 45. Okay, for grade D, and we can change this to D. Okay, so we have for grade E as well. E, so this should be E, and this should be 40, and this should be lower than 45. Okay, so we also have grade F. So grade F should be F here, and if score is lower than, okay, so if score is greater than or equal to 0, right? Because it's starting from 0, and score is lower than 40. That's grade E. So this will print F for us, okay? This program, I tell you, is running perfectly, but let's just test. So why are we printing score is not allowed? Elif, sorry. So after the first if, we can have elif for the rest of them. Let me just copy and paste. So elif, because we have more. Okay, so that should work perfectly. Okay, so grade B, because we had 69 here, right? So if I say 70, it prints A for us. So if I say 12, it prints F expectedly. So if I say 46, it should print D. Okay, how about 41, 42, E, right? So 39, okay, beautiful. And 101, that score is not allowed. So everything works pretty much well as we expected them to do. So maybe I'm scrolling a little bit faster. Let me just make sure I can keep it in such a way that you copy it for a while. Okay, you can pause the video and copy this and make sure you are well acquainted with this. So this is it. You start with here, declare the variable and give whatever value you want, then you have your grade A. So you can pause the video. Okay, I hope you've copied that. I can scroll down a bit and you can pause the video again. Okay, so that looks good, right? That looks really good. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this part as well. Hope you enjoyed this part of the tutorial. All right, so I will take it a step further. I'd like to make it in another, let me copy this and paste it here. Paste. So we have school grades 2, right? Rename school grades 2. All right, so we have a copy of this, but I don't want to keep working on that. So let's start with trying to make this more efficient. Okay, the first efficiency will be just internal, and the second one will be external. What I mean is the first efficiency will be us declaring variables for each of these calls rather than reinventing the wheel. Okay, so we'll declare variables for each of them and just call the variables over here, so that if peradventure is another school and the grade numbers change, you can easily change at once from the variables and everything will be applied directly. You don't need to come and start changing from on each of these if statements. All right, so that one will be internal, and then the second part will be where we allow the user, that one will be external, of course. We allow the user to be the one inputting grades, and the user inputs the grade, and we get to the engine still works calculating whatever the user has inputted, using input. All right, so let's get started. So first, we want to declare variables for each of these. So A, so we have A here. So we can just, let me remove these comments. And we have grade A. So let me call it that way. So that's grade A. All right. And we have grade B, grade C, grade D. So let me use this command I know very well. All right. So we can easily change this to B, this to C, this to D, this to E, and of course. All right. So we'll remove anyone we don't need, but let's see how it goes first. Okay. So grade A, let me just comment the grades, school grades. Okay. So grade A is 70. So instead of having to type 70 everywhere we need 70, all we need to do is we copy and paste where we need 70. So everything will still work the same way. Okay, we will test this again. So we may even have a upper boundary for 100. Okay, so we just want to make sure everything looks good. Upper boundary for 100. Okay, we have lower boundary for 0. Okay, lower, yeah, boundary for 0. Okay, so once we pass this boundary, then it's not within boundary anymore. Okay, so grade B is 60. So all we need to do is copy there, and if score is 60, and we change for grade B. Okay, this should be grade C. So I'll change for both of them. Yep. Okay, so I've changed for both of them. Maybe you're asking, how did I do that magic? So if you want to change the different things at the same time, you hold your alternate while clicking on the rest. Okay, once you're done, you paste what you want to paste and you can actually edit them. All right, so that is C, and this is grade C, grade B. So this should be grade D, grade D. Okay, so I'll do that again. So I hold down my alternate and double click on this one as well. Then I paste what I have and probably edit if I needed to. So to D. So it works with the 2. Okay, so this is E. E is 40, I guess. Yes. So E, and I hold down alternate key and paste and change this to E. Okay, that looks good. So if score, let me check this F. If score is greater than and score is less than. Okay, now this boundary now, we need to change that 0 to lower boundary, okay? So if score is greater than lower boundary, okay, and yeah, for this one, we need to change it also to upper boundary and less or equal to upper boundary. So, I mean, this is more efficient, okay? And it still works alike. Yeah, so let's check that. So 101 is still not allowed, as you can see. So let me pause this video again for you to copy. You can pause the video while I wait. So you can pause it here, right? Let me make this longer. So you can pause and copy everything you need to copy, right? Okay, so I'll move a step lower. So moving, so this is grade B, sorry about that, grade B. So I'm moving down, right? So you've probably copied everything. Pause the video and copy it, okay? So I'm moving down again. So the only thing we changed here, instead of 0, lower boundary, both of them work, but we are using how variable definition to make it more efficient, okay? It can be changed. If we come tomorrow and say, let the boundary be 3, for instance, then that means that 3, of course, will be a valid fail, right? But 2 will now become out of boundary, you know, okay? So it gives us the liberty to change what we need to change, okay, at a time. So if some schools, I know that their grade A is about 80, okay, and maybe B is 70, and C is maybe 60, and D is 50, and that, you know. So I mean, you can always update from there and it will work out for you. So if we now change this to 69, 69 will no longer be B, it will now be C, okay? So we tune everything based on the school. So this gives us the ability to flexibly modify our values in the future, okay? Programs don't need to be tied down. It has to be, a program has to be flexible, you know, scalable, just to scale, you know, and has to have a good foundation, has to accommodate changes in the future. Okay, so that's what we are making it to look like. All right, the last but not the least is we don't want to hard code this again. We want the user to be the one to do this. Okay, so all we need to do is input. Okay, and maybe we can make that integer. Okay, so input enter a score. Okay, so let's try that. So enter a score. My score is 50, and it says grade C, right? Based on our parameters here. So let me run that again. So my score is 101. So that score is not allowed. So let's try 46. My score is 46, and that is D as expected, right? So lower boundary, score of 0, 0. So failed. Score of -1, -1, not allowed. So the program works very, very, very sweetly. It works very nice, okay? And I hope you enjoyed this video, okay? Hope you enjoyed. You really took time to learn and enjoy this tutorial. So don't forget to subscribe, okay? Recommend this channel to your friends, family, business, school, okay? The organizations, and yeah, also check our website on zyzics.com, zyzics.com, okay? Okay, so I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Remain blessed. Bye. Thank you.